I wrote a few words last night about Jeremy Hammond and about what Jeremy Hammond's acts represent. A specter is haunting the West, a specter of what some call dissent. This specter of dissent is largely unarticulated in our public discourse, obscured, as it were, by the bare-knuckled extremities on the left and right hands of our corporate politic. Peaceable assemblies are called unlawful mobs. Distributed denial of service sit-ins on publicly available websites are called cyber attacks. Disclosing documents to a journalist or publisher which reveal government and corporate wrongdoing and criminality is called espionage and computer fraud and abuse. Aiding in the independent dissemination of large data sets of this information onto the internet is called wanton publication and aiding the enemy. Reporting on the U.S. global war on terror by interviewing former Gitmo detainees or providing proof of secret U.S. cluster bombing in Yemen is called substantial support for terrorism. Making documentary films about one's confinement at Gitmo after being detained for years without charges or trial is called terrorist recidivism. In actuality, this specter of dissent is an inevitable consequence of the system in which it haunts. A system based on the brutal and arbitrary application of power. When we examine this so-called dissent more closely, it is neither dissent nor is it a specter. It is the embodiment of the simplest aims of life. It is incarnated in the acts of conscience of individuals like Chelsea Manning and Jeremy Hammond, and in the millions of people across the globe who showed up to public squares from here to Wall Street because they thought for 1 second that they could participate authentically in the social contract as free men and women. These acts do not spring from a marketing campaign or a brand. These acts of so-called dissent spring from a desire to influence one's own destiny, to make genuine contributions to civilization, to engage the intelligence and goodwill of others, and to try to remedy the myriad ills and abuses of a corrupt and illegitimate system which preys on the resources and spirits of people. These acts are as natural as breathing for men and women. If the simplest aims of life are dissent, then breathing is dissent. Not wanting to murder is dissent. Being incapable of believing lies after you have seen the facts is dissent. It is the system which is the specter, because it is built for ghosts, not for the living. And that is why it has to bury Hammond and Manning alive. It is built for the ignorant and the uninformed. It is built on lies. Do not be ashamed because you are dissatisfied with settling for the patronage of elites who claim they are a better arbiter of the truth than you are. They aren't. They merely control the information. With one hand, they are building media empires on the backs of independent publishers. Independent publishers who they are strangling with their other hand with their extra-legal banking blockades. There is absolutely the possibility of a better kind of debate than privileged pundits talking about themselves amongst themselves for their own benefit. Thanks to Hammond and Manning, we are building that press. Do not be ashamed because you are dissatisfied with settling for a political party or a Congress that fails to deliberate, causing people to deliberate in public parks. Thanks to Manning and Hammond, we are building an assembly that can deliberate. Finally, trust the process. I am not talking about the process that unfolded in that courtroom today, but the process that is unfolding in the courtroom we are building right here. Thanks to Hammond and Manning, the verdict of the ages is in. The free spirit of men and women will not and cannot be conquered. When an 18th century philosophy, 19th century institutions, 20th century outlook, and 21st century problems present us with a vision we cannot afford to build on, bank on, or believe in, then the free spirit of men and women will build on, bank on, and believe in something else. We are doing it right now. Thanks to Hammond and Manning and the countless others before them and the countless more to come, the countless more who most certainly will come, because this conflict is unavoidable. The world is aware that this is going on. And I think that a lot of what this trial is really the war on terror is on trial, the press is on trial, and Bradley Manning is on trial.
That's why I personally, the Center for Constitutional Rights, and other people who understand what's going on support truth tellers like Jeremy Hammond, Bradley Manning, Aaron Swartz, and Julian Assange.